Can you all see that okay?
Yep.
Perfect.
Yep.
So this is the order that we will run through things tonight. Hayley will be joining us hopefully in about 15 minutes or so, so she might just jump on and appear. She's just on a train back from Wembley. So I will hand over to Nikki.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. And that was a really useful introduction for me, because I think absolutely every one of you has been a welfare officer for quite some time. That's certainly when I was clocking. I wasn't obviously adding up the years, but you're all very experienced in the area. You're also, most of you, multitasking. There wasn't just one role you were doing, and also that you'd come to something. I think one of you said you started the role because your son was playing football, but he's moved on, but you haven't. You're still doing the role. So if you actually count up, and there's only, I don't know, is it about 8, 9 of you tonight? And yet, if you actually count up the years that you've experienced, that you've got there, it's pretty significant. And that's interesting for me as the board safeguarding champion, because these sessions are very much about how we can harness the learning from people like Izzy and Kirsty and Hayley, but also the learning from yourselves, because it has to be a two-way process. So this isn't just about what we do for you, it's what can we, it isn't just about what you do for us, it's about what we can do for you is part of what this, I think I've got about 10-15 minutes. So we'll just do a bit of the boring bit, which is the next slide, please, Kirsty, thanks. These are the roles function which are set down by the FA. I've worked with lots of governance organisation, Ofsted and regulations and all the rest of it over the years. The FA is quite unique, and in it's prolific in producing quite a few policies and procedures and all the rest of it. But I think that's also part of, they really want to get it right. So the Football Association, in a way that I don't think other sports have got it yet, have really understood the impact of abuse on young people, and that they've listened to the survivors, and they continue to listen to the survivors. They have an advisory group that has survivors on it. That in itself is pretty unique. When you look at local authorities and all the rest of it, they haven't got that. They aren't that imaginative as the Football Association has been. But so these are my key responsibilities, which is making sure that the board does act in accordance with legislation and statutory guidance, and that we have the policies and we have the procedures, and that we make sure that we actively promote the voice of the young person and champion safeguarding at all times. So that's what absolutely you'd expect the role to do. And then my responsibilities are in the next slide, please. Thank you. There are, again, I'm not going to read these all out, but ones that you would expect to see in terms of making sure that the Football Association, the County Suffolk Football Association, acts in accordance with all those roles and responsibilities. Make sure that the staff are recruited in the right way, etc. But it also has 2 in here that talks about how important, it's the 3rd one down, to ensure the County FA enables and provides relevant safeguarding training for the board, staff, volunteers and committee and council members. And one further down, to ensure all volunteers are aware of and comply with the FA safeguarding operating standard requirements. So 2 fairly straightforward ones that relate to the roles that you are doing. But it's how we do that in the best way, really, when there's so many clubs, so many teams, and engaging with people in a county as large as Suffolk is. So one of the things that we want to look at is how can the board be more listening to what you've got to say. I don't want to be putting more work on you guys, because I think the other thing that is not acknowledged in a way that it needs to be is that you are volunteers. At the safeguarding conference, at the Football Association had a safeguarding conference that I attended last year as the Leicestershire and Rutland board safeguarding champion. And one of the speakers stood up and said, well, we're all professionals here. You know, we all, you know, believe in safeguarding. And I'm thinking that they don't see welfare officers as volunteers in the same way. I think we are at a place where volunteering for work, getting volunteers to do the roles that you're doing is quite challenging. I mean, I don't know if any of you have considered, you know, it's time I need to do some other things. I've got other things going on in my life. My children are a bit older. I need to be doing X, Y, and Z. You know, is succession planning. Are you doing succession planning? Is that possible? Those are the kind of things I'd be quite interested to hear from you guys tonight. And anything else specific that you feel as the board safeguarding champion that I need to know about in order to take those things forward. Now, you might not want to do it when we're on a, you know, not public, but you know that we know the session's recorded, etc. But I'm more than happy. My email address is available. I'm more than happy to receive anything from anybody if you want to ask me anything. I know the survey that Hayley did fairly recently got very positive feedback about the work that Hayley and the team do in supporting you in your role. But there are dozens and dozens and dozens of CWOs, but we're not capturing everybody. We're not getting out the messages out to everybody. And it's, I suppose, asking you how you can possibly help us in terms of doing that. So I'll stop there and just say if there are any questions that anybody's got about anything that I've said. It goes very quiet. Okay, right. So if you even want to put it in the chat, is there anything you feel the board? Do you feel? Well, perhaps I ought to start. Do you feel the board is in touch with what the club welfare officers do? Do you feel that it is something that is well understood? Do you feel the Suffolk FA is in touch with what you're doing and you could approach them if you needed to? Are people writing in the chat? I can't see.
Yeah, I feel that Suffolk FA do support me in my role as club welfare officer.
You've been doing it a long time, didn't you say, Jimmy?
About 3-4 years now, I think. Like, because basically I qualified, I think it's December 22.
Right.
So I just do a course, and I was I'll do that one, sort of to help out with the breakaway. And then I was like, I can do the rest of the season with like support. And then the other two welfare officers then walked out of the club, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm on my own now.
Yeah. Have you been able to replace the others?
Well, I've got one lady that's basically steps forward and then helps me out a little bit, but she mainly does the pan disability side at Lavenham. Then obviously I'll come along and then sort of pass on information that needs to be passed on.
Right.
I'm the only one that seems to be able to do the DBS check, so that's always fun trying to catch people.
Yeah, no, that there is that is part of the role, isn't it? It's stick and carrot as well, isn't it? It's not, you know, that sometimes you're going to have to sometimes say some things that aren't very popular, which is quite tricky. So when you started, I mean, it's a while ago now, is there anything you think, oh God, why didn't they offer me this? Or if I knew then what I know now, you probably say, oh, I wouldn't have done it.
Well, I don't think I would have been sort of. I think I still would have done it, but
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, like, I do kind of realise like how big a role it is. But then, like, as I sort of feel that there is like rewards at the end of it and stuff like that, to kind of see how Lavenham went from having, I think it was 2 All-Stars kids, and they've now like the Pan Disability kids, whereas they now do like double sessions. They do under 12s from 9 till 10, and then the under 16s is from 10 till 11, and they've gone up to about 25 kids, I think it is.
Right.
But they come from all over the place as well. It's like, where you come from then? It's like, oh, come from like Walsham. Oh, okay.
Brilliant.
Place like that sort of thing. But
Yeah,
obviously, it's at the moment there isn't really big pools of team clubs doing the Pan Display, which is a bit of a shame.
No.
Hopefully the Comets sort of will change that, but who knows?
No, thank you. Well, if anybody else has got anything that they want to contribute, like I say, please feel free to put it in the chat box or to email me. But that is something that I think we need to be looking at, is how can we, particularly new CWOs, who we are not, I think Hayley is in touch with, but I don't think we're doing enough. I'm talking about the FA now. I'm not talking about you guys. We're not getting in touch with them. We're not. We need to be doing more to reach out to them, I think, because it is a tricky role, and that you lose people if they aren't properly supported in the early days. So it's something that we need to, as a board, to be thinking about. You know, it's Hayley and the team. The capacity is limited. So it's what other things can we do as a board that will support you in terms of doing the role. I think the last thing I'd like to say is a big thank you. I know I don't know you guys very well, but I know the work that you do is incredibly well valued. And did an unannounced safeguarding visit last week, and it's very, very clear how important that role is. So thank you very much indeed for that. And I'll hand back to, is it Kirsty next? Is he next? I can't remember what. Oh, sorry, other sites of interest. Yes, there was another slide. I'd forgotten. These are, I did a course fairly recently on being a manager in safeguarding in a role with the FA. And I didn't know about any of these. Now, you should say I've been around for a long time. I should have done. The NSPCC, obviously, you know, everybody knows about, but there's a really useful thing on relevant legislation. And legislation people do find it a bit boring and all the rest of it, but it's key to what we do. So that it's a brilliant, well worth having a look at. The Anne Craft Trust, which I didn't know about, I think is also an excellent, and you just sign up for it and it's free. And then the child sexual abuse, the report, that is worth having a look at. So yeah, thank you very much for that. Sorry, Izzy, I forgot the last slide. Okay, thank you very much.
Cool. This is my couple of slides now, guys. The first one is, yeah, not overly interesting, I'll be honest. We did cut a lot of these words down because it could have been death by PowerPoint. But just something to make you guys aware of, although I'm sure with Hayley and everything that she sends out, you guys are aware of.
So the FA dispensation policy and process for this year. Again, I'm not going to read through all that. You guys can read it, and I'm pretty sure these get sent out from Hayley anyway, or you can contact me for more details. But basically, the FA have recognised over quite a few years actually that football is for all. However, we do have to make some adaptations, and we should make some adaptations for the children and the participants that need it. So the dispensation policy, there is a lot of information in there. There's a lot of information that needs to be provided by parents, players, all that sort of stuff, and the club. So I won't go through all that. But basically, if you think you've got a player within your club who might need to play down a year or 2 years down, potentially if it's like disability or things like that, there is ways and means of doing that. Everything is done online now. When I first started the role, it was very much sending emails to the National FA team. They would get lost in translation, or they would always come back with, we need more information, we need more information. And it was quite a slow and unstreamlined process, I guess. So now the FA brought in last year that it's all done online. The parents can do it, or the club teams can do it with the support of the parents. So everything's online. It's been a little bit more streamlined. Everything is a little bit more directed. So the questions are relevant, and the information that they need from the start is all there. So it kind of sets out the expectation of what the FA would need to kind of grant this dispensation. We at county FA level, we don't have any say in this. It does go up to the National FA equality team. They're all experts in this field. I am absolutely not. I do my best, but yeah, those guys are all within this field every single day, and they look after this day in day out. So once the decision's been granted, then it'll come down to county FA. And for example, if the dispensation's been given, if you guys can't do it for whatever reason, because we know how reliable, let's say, FA technology is, if there's any issues with that, then we can override it from county FA and kind of add the players on there to the relevant age groups and things. What was the next one? Is it comments yet? Yes. Cool. So this one is a little bit more exciting to talk about. So Jim kind of alluded to it earlier, and I think probably some of you guys probably have heard about Comets before. So it's the FA's new programme around getting more children aged 5 to 11 into football and providing that really positive, inclusive, fun, sociable environment for kids to get involved in football. If you guys have been around football for a little while and you remember the Wildcats, it very much runs along those traditional lines. It's 5 to 11, but this one is boys and girls. And then, so like I said, you can read all that on there anyway, but it's been created because basically the FA had realised that there was a gap in terms of children with a disability. Some feel quite happy and comfortable in mainstream. Some experience some disabilities, even at such a young age, where it made it more difficult for them to fully get involved and engage in the sessions. So if Izzy goes on to the next one, please. So comments a little bit around it. Again, Hayley can send this out, or contact me and I can send this in more detail, because there is a document that accompanies all this. But clubs will get £500 training. There's a few little training workshops that the coaches and things like that would have to go on. But that's the same with Wildcats and any other sort of FA things. You can do them in your own leisure. They're online, they're free. They've given a bit of a guide around behaviour management, because a lot of coaches out there, and rightly so, were saying that they needed support around, it's great, we want all these children involved in our clubs, but we don't necessarily get taught all the skills needed for this on a normal FA level 1 kind of course. Because it's not around necessarily technique and all that sort of stuff. Yes, that's important, but actually it's just around creating that environment for the children, and also kind of catering the sessions to their needs or communicating in a different way. So the behaviour guide and everything like that is really, really good. And then the coaches will be signposted to the new coaching disabled footballers course if they wanted to increase their knowledge. Just as a general caveat, I think a lot of coaches within mainstream football, grassroots football, probably will have a child, at least one, within their team of any age that may have some sort of disability, whether it's been disclosed or is hidden. So as good practice, I would always recommend a coach potentially logging on and doing that course, just because it gives you a little bit of insight into kind of the autism, the ADHD, the more, I guess, the more likely disabilities or hidden disabilities that you're going to come across within mainstream football. It will go across, it will cover some other topics which are a little bit more specific, like CP and things like that. But just in general, if coaches wanted to increase their knowledge, I would really recommend that one. Next one, please. Is cool. And then this is everything that goes around it. This is all the fun stuff. I know the FA have brought out a few different programs, Wildcats Just Play, everything like that. But genuinely, guys, when I say this is the best program they've brought out in terms of actual material and actual things that support coaches and have a really tangible result. There's lots of things around welcome activities, around the type of equipment that you have. Even things like the flashcards and stuff. Again, I'm not going to go through everything, but like the flashcards where some children find it really difficult to communicate, but they can communicate with emojis or different things like that. And it does give you a lot of equipment and things like that to create a really structured session, which within the disability space, having structure with the children knowing what they're going to turn up to every week is a really important part of that. And it even gives you things for like a breakout space. It gives you all the fidget spinners, all that sort of stuff, different types of footballs, because depending on what children are comfortable with. There's loads and loads of things on there. There's like friendship wristbands to really create that inclusive environment and things. So yeah, there is a lot within Comets, which again, I'm not going to talk you through all of that. And if you do want more information, but this is genuinely one of the best things the FA have ever brought out in terms of really creating that environment and getting kids involved. So if any clubs are interested in starting, again, it sounds like I'm giving you more jobs to do, so please don't shoot me. I don't mean it like that. If anybody is interested, or anyone within a club is interested within starting something like that, please get in touch. As Jim alluded to earlier, Comets is new. We don't have that many around the county. There is definitely a demand there. And yeah, I think the more we can create this sort of safe space for the kids to get them involved, and create that natural pathway up to the adult league, yeah, would be really beneficial. Izzy.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Has anyone got any questions for Kirsty, first of all? No? Perfect. I will hand over really quickly to Hayley, who is just struggling to balance her phone in her car.
Hi guys, I'm so sorry I'm late to the party. Hopefully you can hear me okay, and I'm sure Kirsty and Izzy and Nikki have looked after you well. Apologies if I look like I am sitting in my car. That's because I am in the car park of Ipswich Station currently. The train was a little bit late coming in, so yeah, I'm really grateful to everybody that's on the call tonight and for everyone that held the fort for me. My sincere apologies. I look forward to actually rewatching this and catching up on the recording to see what you guys have been talking about in my absence. But I'm sure it's been probably one of the better sessions without me, so really pleased for that. But yeah, no, thank you. And I'll let Izzy carry on, and then I will just wrap up at the end. So yeah, sorry you didn't get rid of me that easily.
Thanks, mate. Lovely to see you. Lovely to see you. So just following on from kind of what Kirsty said, she's there we go. She's kind of already started this for me. But I'll just talk a bit about Wildcat Squad and Just Play, which are 3 recreational female and mixed football offers. So Wildcats, as you can kind of see on the screen, is for girls aged 5 to 11, and it's a fun football session pretty much. There's no team environment. It's just a turn up and play. Turn up and play to predominantly have fun, make some new friends, and build some confidence, whether that be in football or just a bit of confidence to kind of make new friends, and for girls of that age to come out of their shell a bit. I know there's a couple of people on the call that have got Wildcat centres, which is brilliant, and hopefully they'll kind of support the Wildcats idea. But from those Wildcat centres, we do have teams form once the girls get to the right age. So with the Suffolk Girls and Women's League starts from under 9s, and has divisions all the way up to under 16s, for which we are kind of starting our Wildcats teams, and they are progressing through the ages as we speak. We in partnership with the league, we try and run Wildcats festivals about every 6 weeks, weather dependent, but we get somewhere between normally 10 and 35 teams attending those, from across the county, just to give girls an opportunity to experience that competitive environment before they enter the league the following season. We do also offer an older age group at those festivals for those teams that have progressed into the league, just to give them a chance to come back and have a bit of fun playing 4v4 football. So as similar to Comet, support, there's some online training that just helps with the delivery more for the coaches, if coaches have only been used to delivering in a team environment, and the kind of kit and equipment also comes with it to help start those initial sessions. Squad Girls is a very similar program. This is for those girls that have progressed normally through Wildcats but don't want to join a team. So it's for 12 to 14-year-olds who want to play football, but again, not in a team environment. Exactly the same kind of principles as Wildcats. It's there for making new friends and having fun. Again, there are also clubs that have youth squad sessions to help boost their kind of under 13, under 14 teams as well, because it's a good place to start, and it's a good place to kind of gauge if those girls want to join a team, for example. Just Play is the final kind of England football programme that can be female only. Or there are also mixed sessions. So Just Play offers female only for those women of any age to play football just for fun. It's more of a turn up and play, kind of, you pay your £3, and there's no commitment involved. It's just a turn up and play as and when you can. Exactly the same for male only sessions as well. Some obviously might use it as an extra training session, but some it might just be a kind of a five-a-side kickabout. And then the disability specific sessions are again kind of mirror the female or male only sessions, but are specific for those people with a disability. It's a no pressure environment, and it's just for fun. So kind of, if there's any club welfare officers on the call without any female teams, but would like to look into the prospect, I would definitely say that these programs are kind of your starting point, just because it's good to kind of gauge the interest, and you don't want to try and set the team up if you haven't got enough players, as you probably have all experienced before. So yeah, if you've got any questions, please let me know. Once I've stopped sharing, I've got very long document with all of the requirements and bits like that. I'm going to try and pop that in the chat for you all, if you would like to then take that away. But other than that, I feel like I've gone quite quickly, but I will hand back over to Hayley Shart. Hayley, you're muted.
Yeah.
Well, that went well, didn't it? Thank you, everybody. And for those of you that lip read, that was a perfect test, just to see what I was saying about you all. But no, thank you, everybody, for attending tonight. Hope you have had a good session. I hope it was insightful. Really wanted to give you an idea and a bit of a flavour of what else goes on at county FA level, and to meet some of the other guys in the team who are specialists in their area, particularly disability and girls and women's football, which are some big focus areas at the moment. So I was just going to sort of wrap it up really with some feedback from hot off the press from my trip to Wembley today. We are getting some feedback from clubs, or we would like to get some feedback from clubs on the Play Safe weekend. We obviously, the FA are looking at future campaigns and how we can continue to engage clubs. Do we need to freshen it up a bit? What were the resources used like? Were they helpful? What else would you like to see from the FA? How would you like that sort of thing delivered? So really, any feedback, good or bad, about the Play Safe weekend, please drop me an email, because like I say, there's a consultancy project on the go at the moment to sort of review that, because I don't know if you know that the FA work in like 4-year strategies. So we've had the strategy is due to finish this year in 2024, which is the safeguarding strategy, and I've got a document which kind of just sums up how we've achieved our objectives across the organisation. And the next strategy will begin in 2025 for the next 4 years, and that will obviously encompass Play Safe weekend in some form of one sort or another. So yeah, any feedback, good or bad, please let me know. Just drop me an email, whether people participated in it, whether it was as successful as previous years, whether the communication was good from the FA or not, whether having the resources sent directly to you guys helped, whether you'd like to see anything else, basically. So yeah, please let us know. Second thing is, obviously coming up this weekend is our very first welfare officer coffee morning at Copplestonians. That's being held on Macca is leading that for us. He said he's going to be hanging about the kind of car park and pitch area. For those of you that have been up to Copplestonians before, it's a very big site, but I will also locate the tea hut, if you like, and then head back to the car park once I've got my bearings to kind of gather everyone up as and when you arrive, so I can point you in the right direction. Just save me a cuppa and a chocolate digestive, please. Don't let Macca eat them all. But yeah, hopefully I'll see lots of you there. Really looking forward to this. Something new we're introducing this season. I just think it'll be another great opportunity to meet with you all, chat in an informal environment about, you know, what's going well, what's not going well. You can all talk to each other, which is the main thing. You don't want to talk to me, you want to talk to each other to share your experiences and some tips and techniques of how you can manage certain things. So yeah, really looking forward to that. That'll be 10 till 12 at Cops High School. Macca has told me that there are lots of fixtures on that day, so the car park might be a little bit busy. So just bear that in mind if you are hoping to come along. And last but not least, the next training session is the one, obviously, other than this one, the second best one in the calendar, is done with the safeguarding partners across the county, so the police, health and social care. and that's called Your Local Area Matters. We've run it for the last 2 seasons, and it's always been the most popular. I think we had over 20 welfare officers on it last year, so really, really good turnout. And it's normally a really informative session. So basically, they'll be updating us on kind of like what's going on in the county. So it's really specific to Suffolk. So again, that's a good session. If you can attend, please do so. I'll send the link out a little bit nearer the time. And I think that's it from me, unless anyone has got any burning questions, or any questions for the gang that have been on the call tonight. I'm glad that you've got to meet Nikki, our board safeguarding champion. So apologies if you haven't been able to get hold of me today. But yeah, I've been at Wembley and watching them put all the NFL stuff on the pitch, which is exciting. They're sort of freehand painting the Jaguars symbol, and that was very interesting to watch at lunchtime. So but yeah, if there's no other questions or queries, I will stop talking just for a second. So obviously you can shout out if you need to. No. Okay, fab. Well, that just leaves me to say have a lovely evening, everybody. I've given you back 15 minutes of your life tonight, so you'll be pleased to know it's finished slightly earlier. We'll be sharing the recording, as always, on our Teams channel and on the